So before everyone freaks out in the comments, yes, Modern Horizon sets did do some bad things, yet this video is a defense for Modern Horizon sets, and I will address the problem with these, just wait a little. So I would first like to bring up reprinting fetch lands and printing the Horizon lands. While there are a few other places you could print these, Modern Horizon sets are the perfect place to print these types of lands since it doesn't interrupt standard and puts them in a more reasonably priced product even though they are still very pricey. So I want you to look at all the broken cards from the set like Ragavan, Renin 6, Urza Saga, maybe Urza, Esper Sentinel, Hogak, Shardless Agent, and heck, even the Evoke Elementals. Then I want you to look at all the cards that help struggling decks. Mid-range decks like Jund got Seasoned Pyromancer, Ignoble Hierarch, and Torak. Yawgmoth became a deck and got Grist. Zoo decks got Terravocule Kavu and Scion of Draco. Death and Taxes got Giver of Runes, the Two Swords, and Cauldron Complete. Merfolk got Tideshaper, Swinloon, and Rishton Dockhand. Control finally got Counterspell. Enchantress got Enchantress Presence, Sylphis, Starling Grove, and Solitary Confinement. Fair Blank decks got Soul Herder, Ephemerite, and Icefang Quaddle. Affinity got Thought Monitor, and even decks like Slivers and Elves and Goblins got a lot of support. There are just so many examples of this, and no one talks about it since 13 cards in the set were too strong. Yet it isn't just the fact that struggling decks were supported. We also got so many new answers to broken decks. All the cards on screen were made with the intention of stopping decks if they took off. Look at Dress Down, for example. This card was made to help the format if certain cards were too good. These sets had the goal of diversifying Modern, and to a large extent, they succeeded. Yet there's one large elephant in the room: the fact that the new answers became staples in almost every deck. Almost all the top Modern decks run copies of the Evoke Elementals, and every red deck needs Ragavan, and every green deck needs Renin 6, and every artifact deck needs Urza Saga. The main issue with Horizon sets is that certain cards must be in every deck that could possibly play them. So if we go over the decks I just mentioned getting support, look at how many run the Evoke Elementals. By printing new answers like this that can just slot into any deck, it makes Modern feel stale and like it is a never-ending Modern Horizons block. And the sad part of this all is that new decks that could come from Modern Horizons cards will not be competitive without these staples, and they aren't cheap, making players feel more excluded, and that is why there's so much hate for these sets. Now, these sets also provide new replacements for classic cards. People miss cards like Path to Exile, but it wasn't necessarily good but the best option you could run. I think it's a good thing that white decks have more options when it comes to removal. Cards will come and go as new cards replace them, and I think that's fine, but the issue is how recent power creep is. It's just pushing out cards too quickly and not giving them a chance to thrive. So what's the solution? We could point fingers at banning cards all day, yet right now I think Wizards of the Coast should only make Modern Horizon sets every 3 to 5 years, and the answers they print shouldn't be so abusable. For example, I think Swords to Plowshares could be an inclusion in the format in something like MH3, since it is an answer that you can't do too much to. For more general threats, especially at less than 2 mana, they should be tested more closely, since in the end, the number one goal is to make Modern a better format, and not about dealing with a monkey. And I think MH sets are a great foundation to making Modern that ideal format, with real diversity, since while the format is diverse, the staples aren't. But that's assuming Wizards of the Coast cares about the health of the format and the player base more than a quick buck, and I couldn't tell you which is more important to the company. Yet as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.